Oh, we'll be clear in a moment.
That moment better be less than 90 seconds, because by then I gotta implode that nuke plant so we can stop this nuclear Armageddon.
We'll be down well before then. Okay, getting close. Face to face.
Are we just gonna jump?
Short of, we just need to pull that chunk of cement off the roof and let physics do its thing.
I think I know what he's gonna do. It could work.
Or they could die.
I can hear you. Okay, as soon as they're down, I'll hit the terminal with the red wire. Down comes the building.
Less than 1 minute. I need you to press in tighter.
Oh my god. This is happening. We're gonna jump off of here with an extension cord to break our fall.
Not just an extension. We also have the law of conservation of angular momentum to help us out. Okay, done. 35 seconds! Once I yank that cement off the roof, things are gonna happen real fast. Okay, look at me. Please have faith that I'm right. Okay, when I say now, we step off.
I'm just not gonna look.
I think that's wise. Now!
Hi!
Hello.
Everyone, please welcome the lovely Katharine and special guest,
Larry McPhee.
Larry, he likes long walks on the beach,
He
cocktails at sunset.
He is my main man.
So, Miss Katharine
Why not,
McPhee,
right?
I mean, come on.
He's just so cute. I had to
sweet.
bring him. He is really sweet.
I mean, he just adds a certain je ne sais quoi to this. So,
gonna be fun.
you're on Scorpion on CBS.
I am.
And it's about a band of geniuses
Yep.
who have issues, I guess, functioning in society, communicating with people who are not geniuses. And you're the voice of reason in the group, so
the
to
genius
speak.
is solving government-funded, well, not government-funded problems. They're solving the world from devastation that is funded by the government to help get them through it. And Paige is sort of their liaison, sort of helps them interpret the world and vice versa.
How did you come to do this?
How did I what?
Come to do the show?
I got a script. They asked me to audition. I was busy horseback riding. I was doing a brief hobby that I didn't go back to, which I regret. I'd like to go back. And so I missed the audition, and then they came back a week later and asked if I would still audition. They were still seeing girls, and I went for one audition, and I got the part. Yeah.
What about Paige resonated with you? Because she's a single mother.
Right.
She's how would you describe her?
Well, she's a single mother in the pilot 2 seasons ago. We just got picked up for a 3rd season, but when you meet her, she's a single mother working in a diner. She has a son. I guess it's sort of implied that he's challenged. You know, maybe he has autism, or it's not really specific, but the diner gets commandeered, and Walter happens to be at the same time or earlier that day is working on a wireless internet thing, some tech thing that I don't remember.
Some smart people.
Yeah, and so he sees her kid, who's actually a genius. She doesn't realize that he's playing chess with salt and pepper shakers. So she learns a lot about her son that day, and then they have this crazy, crazy day together where they're saving the world. And then he invites her to be part of the team, and so she quickly becomes part of the team and learns a lot about her son at the same time. So that's kind of where the son, Walter, Paige triangle started.
And how is her relationship with her son now?
Great. I think she's also Paige is so happy with this family that has been created. She has a unique relationship, her son has a unique relationship with Sylvester and the whole group, and with Walter, of course. And I think you oftentimes have these scenes where she's very warmed by the fact that she sees her son connecting with people who are like-minded, like him.
Well, so much of the show, too, I mean, above and beyond kind of the rip from the headline storylines, is about finding your niche and your group and your hashtag squad of where you belong.
Team.
It's your team. What is that for you?
Was that for Paige, or was that for
Katharine?
I don't think I understand the question. Sorry.
I guess, where do you feel the most at home?
Oh, I was thinking in terms of Scorpion. I was like, I really like the show. Where I feel most at home, I love to just be in my home in LA, although New York is kind of my favorite city in the whole world. Yeah, I lived here for a couple years doing the other show I was on, but I feel really comfortable in my own space. Like on Saturday, Sunday mornings when I have time, picking flowers that are dying and pruning like little. I know I'm very domestic, but going to see movies and getting sushi. I really am simple, kind of meeting friends to go work out. Like going on hikes. We go on a lot of hikes in LA.
Of course, you're in LA, naturally.
Yeah, so you do a lot of hikes, but just hanging out. I love to go for meals and yeah.
And this show is doing very well. Obviously, it just got renewed.
Yep.
How did you make the transition from music to acting? I mean, it seems to have gone fairly seamlessly for you. When I came off of Idol, I always looked at that show as a platform. I didn't, a launching pad, a career starter, but I always was pursuing acting, or my angle was always to kind of go that route. I think it's very difficult to do it at the same time. Like you're either doing one or the other. But as soon as I had made the record, I mean, I had an agent and all that stuff. I just looked at it as a platform, I guess. So the advantage it gave me was, I suppose, a better, a more experienced manager, a more experienced agent, higher up representatives. So that gave me better opportunities. But I still had to go about it the way everyone else does, which is get the audition, learn the lines, meet the casting director, I mean, there were so many general meetings that I went on, meeting producers and stuff, and, a year later, you never saw that person again, but it takes years and years and years, and you meet people along the way, and that is how you kind of build A foundation.
Foundation, and people think about you for projects way down the line. I mean, when I came off Idol, I met Steven Spielberg, because he, that was when fifth season was Idol's biggest season. So Steven Spielberg was watching Idol, apparently, and then I got off the show and I got to take a meeting with him, and I was so excited, thinking like, he's gonna put me in a movie tomorrow, and that didn't happen, but he was thinking about me in terms of Smash 4 years later, and it did actually come to fruition. So it happens. It just sometimes is in a slower pace than what you want, but it's really, it seems seamless, I suppose. But for me, it was just when I had time to focus on an audition and go on it, and something that was right for me, I would do it. And if I didn't, I didn't do it. But I wouldn't say it's easy to try and do both. I don't find it easy to.
Oh no, I never implied. I wasn't trying to.
Oh no, I didn't think.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I just think that you've done a really.
Do you want to get in a fight right now? Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. No, that's not what I meant either.
No, I totally didn't mean that.
No, I mean, either did I.
What was the biggest lesson that you learned from Idol in terms of performance that you then could apply to acting?
Oh, gosh. I think I learned the most from performing on Idol when I would go back and watch it. I had a really hard time. I really wouldn't want to watch stuff back. I just performed on Idol 3 weeks ago, and I still haven't watched it back.
On the finale, what? That was amazing.
Finale. Thank you. I watched the finale, but I was on a week before that, or 2 weeks before that, and I sang Rainbow, and I just never watched it back. Thank you. I don't know. I feel like I have better perspective on things when I don't, when I don't watch it when I'm nervous. I get nervous for myself to watch it after it's already been done, even more so than when I actually performed it. So I think I learned the most from being on the show, but actually watching the performances after, where I go, oh wow, I think the thing that's most valuable is stillness, is sometimes simplicity, is some of my favorite singers have, and I won't name names because I think that's rude, have sung a great song and they're vocally flawless, but it was too much. Like, instead of them just singing the song and telling the story with their facial expressions and a few hand gestures, it became about the performance, and I found it to be very distracting. I did that too, you know. I mean, I'm sure I would still do it at times, but I watch that back and go, oh, like step touching on stage doesn't look so good, you know. And I've applied that, I suppose, to acting. That I think stillness in acting, the camera's right there, that it's much easier for the audience to be drawn in to your eyes when you're more still. So I think that's probably what I learned the most from being on the show, but I actually learned it from watching it, you know, however many years later I watched it, or months later.
Are you able to watch yourself on Scorpion?
Yeah, I'm getting I suppose I'm getting better at watching myself. I can watch myself on Scorpion. And also too, on Smash, they would, because we were mid-season, we would get to watch some of the episodes before, get little snippets. Whereas this, we see them as soon as they air, like everybody else. They probably do that on purpose so they don't get a bunch of actors complaining and saying, like, can you use a different take on that one? I don't like that.
That's not my good side.
Yeah, I really don't like that expression I made. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, I forgot.
Are you able to watch yourself? You said
Oh,
yes.
yeah, I can on Scorpion. I don't have I think maybe because it's a different kind of show. You know, we're like all standing in a big group half the time, solving problems.
And your character on the show is so fearless. The episode that I saw, the newest one, is Chernobyl. Which,
oh, yeah.
I mean,
it airs tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have the hookup, so I got to see it early.
Oh my gosh, I didn't.
Yeah.
Not fair.
That's how we roll at AOL Build.
Wow.
Thank you.
Gotta get your number.
But seriously, I mean, you guys, especially anyone following the news, this is a huge story, and it's a terrible story.
Yeah.
And Paige is pretty damn fearless in the episode.
Thanks. That was a fun. I mean, aside from us having masks on our face the entire thing, we had to go back and post and basically redo all the lines because you couldn't understand anything we were saying. But yeah, basically the story is Team Scorpion goes to Chernobyl to repair a damaged nuclear reactor and
leaking radiation,
yeah.
which is an actual fact happening.
Yep, and it is actually. I mean, our show is like a comic book, but so much of it actually they really do try to base a lot of it in fact. But yeah, then Sylvester and Paige get trapped, and Walter has to come and save Paige, and then Paige and Walter off trying to finish the deal. And yeah, I thought it was a good episode for Paige. She gets to, with our guest star, she kind of tries to get her to get a hold of herself and get the job done and keep everyone on task. I enjoyed that episode.
Are you as brave as she is? As focused? I'm not asking if you would actually go into Chernobyl.
No, I'm definitely not as focused. I'm a little bit more like, you know, I get a little distracted. But I love doing stunts and things like that. So, yeah, I do. And I don't get to do as many as I'd like. Hint, hint, showrunners.
Well, you play a mom. They're not going to have you, like,
yeah,
you know, hanging off
so
a plane.
too, I'm like the more girly girl on the show. There's Happy, who kind of takes that space of being like, you know, the tough girl. I don't think I was like, why don't I get to go to Antarctica? And then you saw them all with, I mean, did you see some of that episode? It was a great episode, but they're like black and blue and covered in snow. And I'm like, I guess they don't want to see Paige look like that. That's my thinking more than anything. They want to keep Paige the girly girl, I suppose. But I love the stunts. I think they're really fun.
What's been the best stunt you've ever done? The one that you'd want, like, your kids to see someday?
Oh, well, I don't think I've done it yet. Yeah, I don't think I've actually done it yet. They've been good stunts, but I don't, you know, I want to, like, climb off of a cliff and take a big leap and then tumble down. And I mean, I know even, you know, Tom Cruise doesn't. Well, apparently he does, but I don't know.
He actually does, I think, right?
Yeah, but they can't do that on a show that we shoot 9.5 months out of the year, because if something happened, then the show is a little messed up. But I mean, I want to do something. I haven't yet to do anything really that crazy. I like doing it, but I haven't really done anything that insane. So, not to throw you off, but.
Oh, you're not throwing me off. I just hope that they're watching and they're writing right now.
Yeah, I hope so too.
We're gonna have her like swing off a helicopter.
I really wanted to do some cool. This isn't really a stunt, but you know, Catherine Zeta-Jones and Entrapment, where like Paige and Happy need to go like in their like sexy cat suits and go through the laser beams and stuff like that. That's not really a stunt, but just something cool. want to sexify the show a little bit.
I love that idea.
It's time. Paige is a mom, but
I would have never expected that to hear that from you, but I love that idea. Let's sex it up.
yeah.
I
Right?
mean, please, it's a nighttime show. It's
Yeah.
not like,
Next season, I'm going to be wearing like, really low-cut shirts, and CBS is going to be like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. It's fine. Everything's
I mean,
normal.
she could, What do you get out of acting that you don't get out of music, or vice versa?
I think what I love so much about acting, I love the in the moment experience where you're just nowhere else but there. You're not thinking about getting home and handling this or that. For me, it's such a unique experience to be in a scene where you're just so focused on that. And I feel like, I suppose it's sometimes hard in your own life to be present. And
Really, right?
Yeah,
'Cause we're
right.
always thinking like, what's
Always
tomorrow?
thinking-
What's next week?
Yeah, and you kind of get to forget about all of that and be something different and think about something different. Because I do feel like immersed in those situations, especially the scenes that are a little bit more like real scenes, emotional scenes between the different characters and the dynamics and things like that. And also to just go to more of a structural element of acting, it's a very set thing. You have a set call time. You get there every morning and there's a routine to it. And I think I really like routine. I like the community aspect of crew and cast and sitting and chatting with, your crew members and stuff like that. I like all that part of it too. And the singing they're very similar feelings, but the gratification I get just from singing is, this is a weird, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's almost like I'm entertaining myself, if that makes sense. Like I'm playing around with an instrument, so it's entertaining. For me, especially if I'm at home and I'm practicing something, but I'm just singing because I love to sing. So it's not like I'm really practicing something. I'm just doing it and it's fun. Like it feels, I don't know how to explain it. When people say, "Oh, I wish I could sing," and I just like, "Oh yeah, that's nice." But I guess when I really think about it, I can understand what, wanting to know what that feels like to be able to manipulate and control something from your body.
Like, it must be amazing to just open your mouth and like these beautiful notes come out.
Yes, and also is not amazing when they don't come out.
It would be the opposite.
Like this
of
morning when I
amazing.
woke up, I was like, I spend too much time talking this weekend, And you're like, oh, I'm not a responsible singer this weekend.
You know what? Then Larry looked at you and he said, "Mommy, I
Yeah.
love you and you are perfect."
Thank you, Larry.
Look at Larry. I mean, please look at this dog.
Would you like to say something?
He should be like a dog model.
He's getting a little gray, but we could put some
He's like George
color on there.
Clooney. Come on. He could be
Why
like
are
the
you
George Clooney of
cute?
dogs.
Why are you? Look at how he goes like this. Can I have a kiss? Can I have a kiss, please? Nope.
He's like, "Mom, I was just relaxing." Really?
But I'm
Really?
so cute.
Okay, wait. I have to ask you, on a totally un-Larry related note, you recently performed with John Legend on CBS.
I know.
Tell me about that. Was that like a complete pinch me moment?
So this was such a cool. Okay, this is a cool little story. I got asked. This was back in November, I think it was. I got asked to Robert Patrick, maybe 6 months before that, had said, "Oh, I'm doing this. Robert Patrick is on my show. He's awesome." He's like, "Yo, Kat, I'm so excited. I'm presenting at the Frank Sinatra's having this. Not Frank. He's no longer with us, but they're having a special for Frank Sinatra and all these cool artists performing." And he named a bunch of artists, and I said, "Oh, that's so cool." He's like, "Yeah, I'm introducing so and so," and I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." And I remember thinking, "Wow, that's really cool." And in my mind, I thought, "Oh, I wish I could sing at that." Just an inner thing in my mind. And I was like, "That's really cool, Robert." And then in November, I got an email saying, "Hey, would you like to present? It's in Las Vegas." This was about a week and a half before Thanksgiving. "Would you like to present? We have to get cleared from work and da-da-da-da-da. It's in Vegas." And I had just done a couple shows in Florida, and I done all these old standards, and I was like, I was thinking, I should be singing this stuff more often. And so they asked me to present, and I said, I kindly said no. I said, no, I'm not going to. It's just too much to try and get out of work schedule and organize all of that. And then I said, but I should be singing, smile face. And of course, my publicist followed up because it was a group email. She's like, she should be singing, like fighting for her client. And then they followed up. They said, okay, well, there's no harm in following up to see if, and I just thought, yeah, whatever, that's never going to happen. The next day, I got an email and said, oh, the booker loves you, but I said no for now. I said, okay, sure. I mean, I didn't even think, I just thought, Adam Levine, John Legend, Harry Connick Jr., Lady Gaga, like these are people who are winning Grammys, that I was like, I know I'm capable of singing that music, but that's just not where I am, right? So a week went by, Thanksgiving happened, and then Sunday going into the new work week, I got an email late saying, Kat, they need an answer now. And it's in the key of A, they can't change it, and you'll be singing You Make Me Feel So Young. And it's, with Adam Levine, you, Harry Connick, and John Legend. And this is long. Am I talking too long? You have other questions?
This is amazing.
And so I was like, let me think about it, yes. But then I was, by the grace of God, I looked at my work schedule, and it was that Wednesday. So it was Sunday night, and it was shooting on Wednesday. And I could not believe it, I was not working that day. I was so lucky, because if I was, I would have had to call production and say, can you find a miracle to get me out? Before I knew it, I was on a plane to Las Vegas, showed up that day. They were doing the sound check. I met this lovely guy named Don Was, who's been producing records for Rolling Stones since 1999, and did Bonnie Raitt's records, John Mayer records. He's an amazing guy. And they said, oh, so you're singing You Make Me Feel Something. I said, yeah, I haven't really rehearsed it. I don't know it that well. I mean, no, I said I know it well, but I didn't ever get the MP3s of what version we're doing. He's like, okay. Also, did they tell you we just threw you in to come out at the very end to sing You and Me with John Legend? And I was like,
what?
Yeah. I said, no, I don't actually know that song. Like, I'd literally never heard this song before. And it was shooting that night. The special was shooting that night. And Don and his partner, taught it to me really quickly. And I was literally on stage with the orchestra, not knowing. The first rehearsal, John starts, you and me, we wanted it all, da-da-da-da-da. And then I come out after a few bars. And I walked out, because they had just, and I was like, the prompter was on. And I was like, you and me, we wanted it all. I was just making it up. Because they told me, I know you don't know it, but just talk through it. And it was so embarrassing. But we ran through it a bunch of times, and then I shot it that night. And I was just pinching myself, because I said, you know what? Sometimes saying no is the best thing to do, because you never know what's going to come out of saying no, and not saying no out of, being bitter or this and that, but just saying, you know what? I need to.
This isn't the right thing right now.
This isn't the right thing for me to do. I don't need to fly there to just present, and I need to rest. And so I was so cool that I got to sing with John, and I got to meet Don Was, and now we're talking about making a big band record, and just doing a totally different thing musically. But actually, if you think about it, it's not really that different musically. It's kind of going back to when I was on Idol, I came out singing God Bless the Child. So it's kind of fun. It's been a good couple exciting few months musically, which you just never know. One little moment could turn into something a little bit bigger.
I love how, by the way, before we turn it over to the audience, and I know you have fans in the audience that want to ask you questions, but I love how laid back you are. You're like, it was a nice couple of months. Yeah. Performed with John Legend.
Well,
nice couple of months.
No, I say that just because I try
love
not
that
to.
about you, that you're not like,
I just try not to have too many. I like to keep my aspirations high in my mind, but never too unreasonable, and also not just, I like to kind of keep my goals and aspirations to myself, and if they kind of go to a even bigger place, then I'm very pleasantly surprised. Yeah.
Great. So our first question from the front, please.
Hi, Katharine. I'm Sasha. I'm a huge fan.
Hi, Sasha.
I'm a fan of all your work, and I was just wondering,
All
I'm a
of it?
huge fan of Smash, yes. And I was just wondering in the future if you would ever consider doing Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to find that perfect thing, whether it's musical theater, a play, a movie in 3 months. Because people, we shoot 9.5 months out of the year. And then people say, oh, well, yeah, it's so great, you get 3 months off, but it's really not that much time to try and fit something perfectly. And I did get offered to do a show this 3 months off, but it was about 3 months ago I got offered to do it. And it's a great show, but I just didn't want to lock myself into something that I wasn't sure about. And also, I think there's something to be said for being patient and waiting for when I do make a Broadway debut, I want it to be something that, is not just something that I'm stepping into, but maybe something that I'm creating. That's kind of important to me because I don't know, I feel like I've waited long enough and I would really like it to be special, and that may not happen, but that's what I'd like to hold out for that.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. My question is, what is kind of like your biggest obstacle or challenge you faced as an actor or a person, and kind of how did you overcome it?
Oh, I don't think I've overcome it if I'm talking like on the real. Um, well, and it's not just a problem or a obstacle that's uh, just for me as an actor. I'm sure you're always okay, I'll speak for myself. I think that you're always trying to build for what I want to achieve and what my goals are on the next thing. And so I think that the obstacle is continuing to be available and yeah, I guess available for projects that you're passionate about. And so that's a challenge when, you want to also diversify your career and you're on a show for 9.5 months and it's like an amazing thing. It's like the double-edged sword where you want to be able to go do a musical or go do a play, but you are doing a show for 9.5 months. So because you can't be like two places at once. So that's just it's kind of a great challenge. It's also being patient and finding the right moment, the right opportunity to do something that's different, and that helps people see you different, and not just for other people, but it's really about like fulfilling your own artistic self as well. So I think that's probably my biggest challenge, is continuing to meet tastemakers, filmmakers, when I'm not necessarily available for projects, because oftentimes they won't, directors, producers, casting people, they don't want to even see you if they know you're going back to work on a show, because they don't want to, they want to see people who they can actually hire, not people who they'll get excited about or who are perfect for the role and then can't do it. So that's like the challenge I think I'm facing now, is just, being available for stuff. But it's a pretty great obstacle to have.
Hello, Catherine.
Hey.
You, on your season of Idol, you placed second, and I think it allowed you to take the path that your career has taken. If you could go back in time, would you change anything, or would you still do the same thing you did knowing you got to this point where you are now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't usually, when people say, well, do you have regrets? And I know that's not what you said, but it's kind of a similar thing where you go, well, if you could have done it over. And I thought for a long time, nah, I wouldn't do it. But I think I would. I think I would have probably tried, musically at least, a different direction from out of the gate. I actually really love the first record I put out, but I think I would have, the thing that when I'm out and about on the street and people come up to me and say things specific, they watch Scorpion, love Scorpion, Smash, or they loved me on the PBS special with Chris Bodie, or the PBS special with David Foster when I was singing with Bocelli. Those are the things that like I get a lot. You know, I think I probably would have gone more that direction, like almost like a Michael Bublé direction, musically, because I think that has the most longevity, really. Being able to do symphony shows and you know, you can do shows in Vegas, and I mean, you can do theater shows all over the country, and so that's kind of what I would probably musically. I would have probably stayed more in that lane, but the acting stuff, I don't think I could have changed anything. I just worked really hard, going on tons and tons and tons of auditions, and you know, I don't think I could have made that process go any faster for myself.
And we have time for one more question, please.
Hi, Kat.
Hey.
My name's Adam. I love your jacket, by the way.
Thanks.
Don't we all?
It's a puffy jacket, but
It's
I
beautiful.
love it too. Thank you.
I want to know, have you had like a pinch me moment of someone who you idolize, pardon the pun, someone you idolize that you've been able to perform with either acting or musically?
Oh gosh. Well, yeah. I think John Legend was definitely. I'd met John years ago, actually, when we did this JCPenney jam when I was singing Rainbow with David Foster, and he sang on the same show, but I didn't actually sing with him. And I think years later it meant even more to just kind of be like, "Hey, John, what's up? It's no big deal." But in my mind, I was like, "This is pretty cool," because I was sharing the stage with really current artists, and that felt really, really great. And I felt like, you know, I deserved to be up there, but I didn't. I was lucky to be up there. You know, I wasn't incapable of singing that music, but I was, you know, somebody probably dropped out like a week before, and they're like, "Whoa, we need somebody," and I was like, "Hey, I'm here." And then, yeah, I think the first table read when I met Angelica Houston and Deborah Messing, you know, each both very legendary, you know, Angelica being like Hollywood royalty, and I think Angelica just made Smash classier, just straight out of the I mean, that and Spielberg. Well, I think, and then, God, I just remember, Spielberg, like having him come on set, same thing, like, "Oh, hey, Steve, I'm just going to do this scene. You want to watch? All right, bye." You know, it's like I was just trying to play it off like it's no big deal. And inside, I'm like, so I think those are some of my big pinch me moments.
Oh.
And, oh God, I've got a lot of them. When I'm on stage with Bocelli, I've sung with him a lot now, so I'm like, whatever. But I'm really not. It's people get really fangirl with me when they're like, "Oh my God, what's it like to sing with Andrea Bocelli?" And it's just, I'm very comfortable singing with him, but I know it, when I actually stop to think about it, I know it's very cool. Because he's just a classy, there's nobody like him, so anyway.
And when can we see Scorpion? Mondays?
Tonight, isn't it Monday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mondays on CBS.
Tonight on CBS at 9, and the following Monday we have the finale, so that's a big one to watch too.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for being here.